What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, back to the podcast. This is the Les Alex podcast, sports card talking, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, I am your host, Les Alex, and I am joined today by Flipping Steve. Flipping Steve, what's up?
What's up, man?
Oh, same old, talking sports cards, talking baseball probably a little bit. A lot of stuff's going on. Baseball just kicked off. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, hanging out tonight. I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the sports card world at this specific time on other channels and everything. So I appreciate everybody who's hanging out here tonight with us. But yeah, if you guys enjoy it, make sure to smash that like button. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't heard yet, I just launched a new website called fullcountmedia.com. Go check it out. We got some articles up there, some extended articles of videos that I've made in the past, so you can dig a little bit deeper behind just the 10-minute video. You can actually read a little bit on why I made certain decisions on cards and stuff. So check that out. I've been putting a lot of time and effort into it. But yeah, everybody, thanks for hanging out. Let's get this thing cracking. We already got some. What's up, FIFA? Creighton, Morton, how's it going? What do you think about the Yanks tonight? Do you think any of the players will boom? I mean, yeah, the Yankees are great. I think, are you talking about for like their cards? Because in terms of popularity, I mean, you almost can't go free Joe Kelly.
Yeah, it looks like Aaron Judge had a home run.
Yeah, I mean, Giancarlo Stanton's destroying the world right now. And it's been interesting. I'm definitely not a Yankees fan. I know, Steve, you're actually a Orioles fan. So
yeah, and they're kicking our butts right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, right now we're in a very prosperous time in sports cards, and specifically for baseball cards. I mean, you and I were just talking about this, actually. It seems like all the cards of any all-star, you could just like throw darts at a dartboard and you're probably making money right now. So
yeah,
it's been pretty wild. Not Joe Kelly. Now I got Joe Kelly on the brain, but Joey Votto. What, 3 months ago, you could have bought his PSA 10 tops for about $30 for his PSA 10. Nowadays, it's up towards close to $100. So there's a lot of movement right now with baseball. Obviously, they kind of punted in terms of trying to get back way before every other sport, but they were officially the first sport back, playing meaningful games. I know that the NBA's playing games, but they're just exhibition. But yeah, what do you have any thoughts on Yankees players?
Well, Yankees are always be expensive. You could be, middle of the lineup type guy. The one surprising guy to me on the Yankees that's a great player, DJ LeMahieu.
Oh, absolutely.
He just he doesn't carry a whole lot of value. I don't know why that is.
He's so good too. He's
a ball player.
Exactly.
He may not, hit 40 home runs, but he's going to bat 300 and 25. Did he hit 30? I'm not sure what he hit last year, but he was just a hitting machine last year.
I think he hit 34.
34. I now had him on my fantasy team, and he was like this is how he under the radar he is. He was like a $1 waiver wire pickup on my fantasy team last year, and he ended up being like one of my best players.
Oh, sorry, he hit 26, so I was a little over. Yeah, a little over.
That bad in that lineup right there, he gets on base and sets the table for all those big hitters. And I think they had him batting second last year. They moved him around because it doesn't matter where you put him, he hits the ball.
Yeah,
and he plays everywhere. I mean, he played first, second, short, third. They played him everywhere because they didn't want him off the field. They didn't want him out of the lineup. So
yeah,
they found a place to put him no matter who was there, because it's hard to find a spot for somebody on that team when you look at them position by position.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of, or Tommy Edmond kind of reminds me of a young DJ LeMahieu. Like you said, DJ LeMahieu is a ball player. Like you could put him anywhere, and he's gonna play some solid defense, and he's gonna play some very, very good baseball at the plate. He's gonna give you high average. That's the thing, of course, with every single Rockies player, I feel, and it doesn't matter if they're actually talented or they or maybe not so talented, but no matter what, it's because they play at Coors. It's because they play at Coors is why they're so good, and it's obvious, to me at least, that it wasn't Coors. He did it in.
Oh yeah, and in Coors, I don't know if he ever hit double-digit home runs for Colorado. I know he batted 300, and he may have even won some batting titles, at least one, but I don't think he ever really hit much more than 10 home runs a season. Last year was his biggest power season, I believe.
Yeah, it looks like 11 and 15 were his tops, and then he spouted off 26 last year. So, yeah, definitely. He's always been a high average guy. He's kind of a jump starter over there.
There was even a push for him, people talking about him possibly being MVP and last year at one point. And still
fourth in the MVP votes.
Yeah, if you look at his cards, I guess, like they say, chicks dig the long ball and he doesn't hit enough of them. But, if you follow baseball and fantasy and things like that, I guess I just appreciate, like I said, him being a ball player more so than I do the big, gaudy numbers. The importance to that team. If you removed a player like him from that lineup, it would be noticeable, I believe. I mean,
especially last season with all those injuries.
It's a stacked lineup, but the person who sets the plate, gets on base, and does things like that. Now you have to pitch to people behind him, and that's just important.
Exactly. No, I 100% agree. I like small ball. I like ball players. My favorite baseball player right now is Colton Wong, and by no means is he a home run hitter. He's just a very, very good defensive player, and he can put the ball in play. So I definitely I'm right there with you. I like ball players. So taking a couple more questions. Trading Cards and More asks, heard you need a Pokemon expert. So yeah, send me an email, Alex at fullcountmedia.com, and let me know what you have in mind.
Oh, I got an answer for that question right there.
Good place to sell other than eBay? Is that the one, or
the one about hoops? But I can also, good place to sell other than eBay. I've done some big selling this week, and I've actually made some big sales on Instagram, just direct, to avoid those eBay fees and stuff. But you got to have some sort of a reputation, just because I guess you could offer PayPal goods and services to protect the buyer. But a lot of times buyers, people just feel safe with eBay, but eBay can kill your profits with their fees.
Yeah, it can definitely be rough. The security that eBay gives, I know that they do take quite a chunk of change. But the security that they have both ways is really what I like about them. I've heard people talking about Star Stock. I know that's been gaining in popularity. You can basically day trade sports cards, which is pretty cool. And you never actually have to physically have the cards in your possession. You can just keep them with them, which that's a double-edged sword. But, it's nice if you're constantly flipping. In my opinion.
Yeah, I think Star Stock's got some fees too, because they have the fees for the actual sale and their handling fees and all that. One way around some of the fees, though, and also that can make you more money, is if you want to consign. I know a lot of people don't like Probstein and things like that, but there's no denying that their auctions tend to get more value, whether they're shilled or not, somehow or another.
Yeah.
Somehow or another, they get you more money, and I believe Probstein still charges about the same amount of money that eBay does. They charge you like 10% because they're such a super seller that they only pay eBay 5%. So that's kind of how they make their money.
Yeah.
They're taking 5%. And so you're going to make the same amount, with them as you would selling directly yourself, but you're going to cut out a lot of hassle. You might get some higher sales. I personally don't use them. I just sell and eat the eBay fee myself.
Yep.
And I've been recently using Instagram just because my reputation has gotten up there a little bit.
Yeah.
I sold a card today for $1,500 on Instagram. And,
Nice.
And I have, so I avoided $150 trim right off the top from eBay just by selling to a buyer on Instagram.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too, is social media. So Instagram, Facebook groups, some of them, I mean, all Facebook groups seem to have some bad apples. So definitely be safe. I would definitely suggest doing goods and services if you're doing Facebook groups, and then Discords. There's a lot of sports card Discords, including mine, which you should join if you haven't yet. There's a link in that bio or in the description below. But yeah, and that's a good way, especially if you have built up a rapport with a lot of the people in the Discord or in the Facebook group, to not, like you said, eat those fees.
Yeah, they'll hit you hard sometimes, because one of the first cards I sold this year, I wish I had this card back, and I never go back and look at my sales, because sometimes you're like, damn, I wish I didn't sell.
Yeah,
but I went back and looked at a card last night. I just couldn't resist it, but it was a card that I sold earlier this year. I sold it the last day of February because I was going to a card show the next day. I wanted some money in my pocket. I sold a card for $3,500, and yeah, eBay trimmed me for $350 right off the top. And PayPal got their 3%.
Yep.
So, at the end of the day, I got trimmed. When you start getting trimmed around $400, that's a little bit of money. And
yeah, that's rough.
And that card, that last sale on that card was $9,700. So yeah, I don't even talk about that.
I'd rather be a day.
I still made a ton of money off of it.
Late, man.
I try not to ever look back with regret, because then you'll never sell. You'll hold forever.
Yep.
But that's just one I had to look at. But yeah.
Danny, how's it going? Thanks for hanging out. Lights Camera Cooper asks, are NBA hoops Damian Lillard a good buy? You said you had some.
That's the question I can answer, because right now, and I know that you were big on this card. You liked this card. I was going to say you probably have one in front of you. The hoop stuff across the board, and that's out of the 2012 set, correct? So you're looking at Anthony Davis and Kawhi in there. Yep. The Giannis hoops are pushing over $1,000 now. I was about to set one up on eBay yesterday.
That's for PSA 10 though, right?
Yeah, for a PSA 10 Giannis hoops. I was looking at Kawhi's last week because I want to buy a nice Kawhi, and the prisms are really expensive. Yeah. And I was looking at a hoops, and I lost one in an auction. I think I backed out at like $420. I'm looking at auctions that are live right now where that card is up to $700 and higher. So I wish I would have just kept pushing last week, and I didn't. I went against one of my own rules of believing in the potential of a card. But that's out of the same set that Damian Lillard, those hoops cards. Yeah. And when you go back to 2012, today you have a couple buffers before you get to the hoops. You have the Prism, you have the Optic, you have Select. Yeah. Then you get around the hoops and the Revolution, which people, tend to go with their favorite. There was no Optic in 2012. So you're going Prism, Select, and hoops. Yep. So a lot of people don't realize that. They're still thinking hoops is still down at the bottom of the barrel. Hoops is your third best card out of 2012. And there's a pretty good rookie class. Yeah, it's a good rookie class. I know you and I both enjoy the how they're just like it's just kind of a pose. I like that. I like that. I do like it. I like it too, because it's you're never going to see them like that again. Yeah. You're going to see lots of action shots. You're going to see lots of photoshopped pictures like Prism, which we get in. I don't like the look of Prism. It looks like they took a picture and slapped it on a chromium piece of paper. But that you're never going to see them in their suits today, and that's supposed to be the biggest day of an NBA player's life. Absolutely. And you see them there. They're fresh. They're innocent. They're in their suit. They don't know what to expect coming into the league. And I like those pictures. I mean, you don't see them anymore. Yeah. No, I like them. It's just, like you said, they're innocent. They got their whole career in front of them. So, and then afterwards, all of them are going to be action shots, and so it's cool to see them in a different kind of element. Do you think Bol Bol is a good investment? Spanky 72.
I have been asked this question. This is probably my most frequently asked question since he had that 16-point game. I personally would not buy into it. Granted, I don't know too much about the guy. I would not buy into the rise. I would have, obviously preferred to have bought beforehand, but definitely not panic buying. Like, don't FOMO and don't try and buy into the hype. If you, although flip side of that coin, if you know more about the guy, if you know more about the player and you think he's a good buy, maybe it's correct for a more long-term flip. But if you're trying to like buy today, sell tomorrow, I would not. It just kind of comes down to what you are trying to do with the card and the player. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Bull?
I guess it depends on what you're going to buy, but I'm not in on Bull. I mean, if 2 or 3 weeks ago, yeah, but who would have seen this coming? I mean, you see his PSA silver prisms are selling for like $700. So what I'd like to do is I like to ask myself a question. If I had $700 to spend, would I buy a PSA 10 silver prism of Bull, or would I buy a PSA 10 Kawhi Leonard Hoops rookie card?
Yeah.
To me, if I had that $700, I'm going with the Kawhi, because if the season was to cancel today, that Kawhi card is going to sit at $700. Yep. If he's to win a title, which he's, one of the favorites to do, you're looking at getting, a bigger return, whether that card hits 1,000 like the Giannis, which won't surprise me. Even if that card will hit $1,000 before they even get to the playoffs, before they even get them started. Will Bull? I don't even think he's going to get much playing time in the playoffs. I mean, this was a scrimmage game.
A scrimmage,
it was a scrimmage game.
That just speaks to the market right now. It's like kind of like baseball. It definitely, you can extrapolate that for basketball. You can kind of just throw darts on a dartboard. No, nothing's going down right now. As long as sports continues and the closer and closer we get to actual meaningful basketball games, I think you can probably pick up whoever you enjoy, whoever you believe in, and you're probably going to do fine in the short term, unless they get injured, unless they test positive, unless something comes up from their Twitter past or something like crazy, right? Something that is unexpected. But I mean, I don't know if you agree, but like right now, nothing's going down.
Yeah, the market's the market's is crazy. Now, with that being said, and nothing going down, like I said, I am selling quite a bit of stuff this week. I have my reasons behind it. It's not just I'm selling because I think the market's going to crash.
Right.
I do think it's a seller's market right now because, to be honest, who can afford a lot of these cards out there?
It's getting pretty nutty.
It's getting so crazy that the only people that can't afford it aren't even necessarily, hobbyists. It's big-time investors pouring big-time money into the hobby. How long are they going to stay into the hobby? I don't know. They could stay in there for 5 years and everything could go crazy. I got in early. I was buying stuff in January, and so for me to sell now is good because I'm going to start over and snowball into some lower-end stuff again with some of the money that I've made. Where if I bought something, like 6 months ago I bought, for instance, a Patrick Mahomes Donruss Optic PSA 10. I bought for $200 in January 31st, 2 days before the Super Bowl. This week they're selling for $1,500, so I sold one. People say, you're crazy. Why would you sell a Patrick Mahomes? And I'm like, well, because I bought it for $200. If I bought it last month for $800, I wouldn't be selling it. So that's my mentality, right? I wouldn't be selling it if I bought it for $800, bought it for $200. So, I'm selling now for me personally.
Yeah.
I can take that money and I can put it into, some of these other cards that are still kind of low because like you said, everything's going to go up. Everything's going to go back up.
Everything's going to go up. Everything is going up right now. Yeah, I mean, I agree. And I need to probably list some things, try and sell some things right now because it is definitely, like you said, a seller's market. The hype right now it's like the perfect period. It's the calm before the storm. We don't know what's going to happen. If the Lakers win the chip, Anthony Davis's prices are going to be insane. But if he gets injured in the first game, obviously his cards might not take a crazy dip. But like all those Kyle Kuzmas that I've been talking about, all those guys that are kind of in that second tier of superstars, Donovan Mitchell's a good example. Like those kind of guys, if they get injured or they get one and done, that could affect the price. So
yeah,
I definitely agree.
And some of those guys that were bargain playoff buys before the playoffs started. The playoffs haven't even started, but we're talking like they have. But like you said, Kyle Kuzma, that was a guy that I was, we were both on Kyle Kuzma. I honestly wouldn't be against selling Kyle Kuzma right now. He put up 25 points in a scrimmage, and we saw what happened when Bol had a good scrimmage game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a good time to just turn Kyle Kuzma, because we were expecting to sell his stuff, 3 weeks to a month from now, but it happened early. I mean, his stuff went up sooner than expected.
Yep.
So at what point are you personally happy with saying, okay, I bought a Kyle Kuzma for $5, now I can sell it for 30?
Yeah.
Or I can hold it and hope it goes up to 50. You know what I mean?
No. I'm definitely in the camp of sell a day early rather than a day late.
Yeah,
especially on guys that are on the lower tier, right?
And I don't think are long term,
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. We've got some kind of getting behind in the questions.
Yeah, let's get some.
Mitchell Neely says, will the Fauci prices hold? Large print run. I personally don't think so. I think we are in a, much like the rest of the hobby and the rest of the world, really, we are in a very interesting moment in time right now where everything is kind of extreme.
Oh.
I don't know what your thoughts are on this, but I think that if you have some of those Fauci cards, you should probably sell them.
That's the opening pitch.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I would sell personally.
Yeah. Okay.
If you buy it for $20 and you're selling it for $100, I think that all day.
I mean, you think to yourself, what makes the card valuable? Is it because of the pandemic that's going on right now, and this is a moment in history?
Mm-hmm.
And so that card is kind of like a novelty card, as you would say.
Exactly.
But so was the Billy Ripken F-Face card. That was a novelty card too. And that card sold. That card was so popular, it sold on the Home Shopping Network at one time. So,
oh, wow.
It's like, but look at it now. You can go out and you can get them for next to nothing. There's a lot of certain cards like that are novelty cards and really part of what's going on now, part of pop culture. But eventually, 10 years from now, I don't know.
Yeah,
it depends on what you like and what else. I mean, I always look like I did the comparison with the Bowl. If I have this money to spend, what is another option that may be a better option if I have the money to spend? Because to me, it just sounds like people are looking to spend money.
Yeah, to me, like you said, that's a novelty thing, and it's probably going to blow over. Next year, we'll be remembering this time in history. Like, man, glad that's over. Like,
right.
So Dane Tomka has best long-term investment: Tatis, Fernando Tatis Jr. or Gleyber Torres. That's a very good question. I think both sides, you can't go wrong. But honestly, if it's me personally, I would go with Fernando Tatis. He has looked amazing. Last year, he played I'm pretty sure he played most of the games last season. And he did very, very well. I'm bringing it up here on Baseball Reference. Yeah, so he had 84 games. So that's pretty good. He was third in Rookie of the Year votes. He had 22 home runs in 84 games. That's very good.
That's basically half a season.
Yeah. His OPS was almost 1,000, and he hit above 300. So, I mean, come on.
Stole 16 bases.
That is 100%. I know Yankees, Gleyber, he's great, but I don't know. What's your opinion on him? I'm all in on Tatis.
Talent wise, to me, Tatis, he offers you more. He plays I believe they play. They both play. Do they both play short? Does Glaber play shortstop? I'm not really sure.
Yes. Yeah. Because
so, I mean, they both play a good position. You know, it used to be really hard to find a good hitting shortstop, but so they're valuable for their position. I just think Glaber is more electric. Not Glaber. Fernando is more electric as far as offer you he's stolen bases, you know, power. Glaber's on the Yankees. To me, I'm going to get destroyed for this, but to me, I think that's all he's really got is the fact that he's on the Yankees. I mean, he hit 13 home runs off the Orioles last year.
Yeah.
Take that away. Take the Orioles out of the American League East, okay? Even if –
yeah.
I mean, 13 home runs off one team, that's bad. That's bad. That goes to show you how bad the Orioles pitching is.
So, yeah, and, you know, if you take Tatis's home runs, he could have potentially, if he had played a full season, he could have potentially hit 40 home runs. I mean, Glaber hit 38, but his OPS was much lower, and his batting average was 40 points, almost 40 points lower as well. I know batting average isn't the best statistic, but you look at on-base percentage, 337 for Glaber, and it was 379. So, I mean, come on. I think that pick's easy. And Tatis, very good defensively, too.
Yeah.
Very good defensively.
I'm not going to be so hard on Glaber. He is a good player, but I do think Tatis is just better. Yeah. There's something about Tatis.
And his dad played baseball.
Doing this in San Diego, man, that's a tough park to hit in.
Yeah.
San Diego's a tough park to hit in. He, like you said, 84 games. That's just slightly over half a season. Where they play 162 games normally. So,
yep.
You don't know what his numbers could have looked like. And like I said, he stole 16 bases. He could have stole 30 bases and hit 40 home runs. You'd be talking about him in the same breath as Ronald Acuna rather than Gleyber Torres.
Yeah, and I think, this season, Acuna has been terrible.
Yeah, he
has been very bad. I mean, this season, Tatis has definitely been outperforming him. And they're very close in age in terms of Acuna. Well, obviously Glaber and Tatis and Acuna are all 20, 21 years old. So, but let's move on to the next topic here. Keep one, sell one of cards you really like. That's actually I like that. Keep one and sell one. So, Bravos Journey. I'm not keeping up with these comments very well. I'm sorry, but we're talking a lot. So I hope you guys are digging the content. But yeah, keep one, sell one. Keep one. I would hold on to for right now. I would hold on to Doncic. I have some Lukas. I'm going to hold on to till the games start. Man, and sell kind of what you said. Those like second tier basketball players, Kuzma's, Donovan Mitchell's. I've actually been selling off a lot of my Donovan Mitchell's that I've either doubled or tripled my money on. So that's what I'm kind of selling right now is those second tier guys, those guys that aren't MVP caliber. And then I think the Lukas I'm definitely hanging onto until the games start. What about you?
What I've done is
very good question.
Yeah, what I've done is I've taken some mid-tier players. Man, I bought a bunch. Kristaps Porzingis Prism PSA 10s months ago for like $75 a piece. And there was a guy who had a whole bunch of them for sale. It was the same guy. I went to buy one off of him for $75 and just happened to see that he had a quantity listing, when you pull it up on eBay. And I bought all of them. And they're like $350 now. I sold one today for $325, and I'm selling those, and I'm putting that money back into like Kawhi and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm not that I don't think Kristaps can be great, but he has been in the league since 2015. He's had some injuries. He's finally on a good team, and he's playing with Luka. That's going to get him a lot of attention. That's all. But that's already built into these card prices because if you think about it, they're selling for like $350. What has he done for these cards to be selling for $350 other than going to Dallas, having a couple good games and playing with Luka? So I think that those facts are already, kind of factored into the hype of his card, and now he has to live up to it. So, like I said, I'll take that. I saw one for $325, so I'll take that $250 or whatever profit all day long and take that money and go back and put it in like Kawhi Leonard cards and cards that just have concrete foundation on underneath of them.
Yeah.
Could those Porzingis, could he be great and those go up? They could, but he could also get hurt again. And
for sure,
just being safe, I like to snowball these mid-tier and younger guys into these veterans that are already established.
Yeah, kind of what Sean says: sell the hype, load up on goats.
It's exactly right. I did the same thing. I did the same thing with Kobe Bryant stuff. I sold a bunch of younger guys and bought a handful of PSA 10 tops and some SGC 10 tops Kobe's from '96.
Yep. Mike Aldridge says, "What are your thoughts on Duncan Robinson?" I'm not sure who that is. So, Duncan Robinson. Cards are still super low. Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't know if you did. Cards overstock. What's up, Dakota? How's it going? I'm more worried about flood market. Everyone is talking about selling during the playoffs. I'm worried. Yeah, that's fair too. So if you get in now, yeah.
When I was talking about that I've been selling some this week, that is one of my things I've taken into account is if you look at eBay, there's not a whole lot of listings. Like I'm selling my Porzingises right now, like I said, and if you look at Porzingis listings, there's not many. And when everybody decides to sell, even if the player has done great, if there's a ton of listings on eBay, it's a supply and demand thing. The cards got to be there. There has to be a demand for the cards, but you also got to have people willing to come off of the cards. If everybody goes to come off of them at the same time, everybody's going to be competing for buyers.
Yeah. No, for sure. Irishman says, what are your thoughts on Kobe White rookie cards? I was never too excited about Kobe White in the first place. The only Kobe White card I have was from one of your breaks, that throw-in that you gave me. So I don't know. I'm not too high on him, but I see that he is pretty exciting. But kind of like what we've been talking about for the last several minutes is sell off the hype, buy into guys who are bona fide all-stars, bona fide MVP candidates is kind of the whole theme, I guess, right now. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Kobe? Kobe White, not Kobe.
Like I said, there's money to be made on all these players if you get in at the right time. If you were buying Kobe White cards before he put up 3 30-point games in a row, then you're in the money right now. Yeah. That's why we're talking about Kobe White. He had 3 big nights and his cards blew up. Do you think it's a future perennial all-star? I mean, that's really what you ask yourself. Can he sustain his play, the play that he put up for those games? I actually think Kobe White does have some upside. I think he can be a future all-star just because he's such a good shooter. And he developed a little more later in the league, and he was coming off the bench. He was our 6th man coming off scoring 30 points. So if he finds a way into the starting lineup regularly, there is some other good talent in Chicago. Chicago is a big market team, of course, with the Bulls. They need to get back to being the Bulls. They're not Last Dance style Bulls, but if you imagine, if the Bulls started pushing for the playoffs and things like that, City got hype and got behind that team again, player. It all depends on your price point on Kobe White coming in. If you can pick up some Prisms or something base, Raws, I got lucky. I bought a bunch of them for $5 before he went wild. They're at the grading company right now, so I don't know what I'm going to get on them. But even still, I think I don't know what his bases are selling for right now, but maybe $15 or $20 if you wanted to buy a couple. It's just tough to buy a raw card off eBay right now because your intentions, what's going to make it valuable is getting it graded. And right now, you don't know what you're going to get when you buy a raw card off the internet. It's tough. You get it and it has a dimple on it or something, a scratch.
Yeah, or the centering's off. It's Yep, it's definitely.
I mean, if you've seen Tyler Hero cards, Tyler Hero cards after the last 2 nights have gone crazy. His PSA 10 Prisms are like up to $300. They were $100 before the season shut down. already graded, and raw they were like $5 to $8. The raw value stayed down to $5 to $8 forever. You're looking at the difference between buying a raw card now of him for like $15 or buying a PSA 10 for close to 300. I mean, that multiplier is insane.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Then again, you got to hope you get a PSA 10, or you just sitting with a raw card that's banged up that you don't want to resell to anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, right now it's crazy. Everything's going up, so
and it's because he had a couple of good scrimmages. Sorry, I keep checking my phone. There's 15 minutes left on 2 auctions. I'm going to go in on a Kawhi and an Anthony.
You're good,
Anthony
man.
Davis. I'm going to spend some cash here.
Sean Young asks, are you concerned about Christian Yelich being 1 for 25? No, he's a Milwaukee Brewer. I hope he goes 1 for 800 or whatever. No, in terms of his cards, personally, I don't own any of his cards, but I think he's solidified himself enough that he could have a poor season and it won't affect his cards too much. But I mean, yeah, you know, if you put all your eggs into the Christian Yelich basket, I definitely wouldn't be very happy right now. But I would stay the course. He's a good ball player. He'll bounce back. Baseball is a sport about highs and lows. You go on crazy streaks. You go on crazy, you know, where you slump for 25 ABs. So I don't know.
Yelich is actually a guy. He's actually a guy I have a little bit of experience with when it comes to talking about players.
Yeah.
I've had him in my baseball fantasy league, and it was Dynasty. So I've had him ever since I drafted him with the Marlins.
Oh, nice.
And he's traditionally a slow starter, except for last season. Last season is this first season that he really just came out ripping right out of the gates. But he's always been traditionally a slow starter. Even the season before, when he was in the MVP running, he came out of the gate slow. He really didn't even get on the first year with the Brewers. He caught fire after the All-Star break, and his numbers were astronomical. I mean, yeah. He had the best second half in baseball that I don't know if anybody's ever had. I feel like because my fantasy team was already eliminated because we play head-to-head, and my team, everybody on my team blew up after the All-Star break. I was already stinking it up early, so I was eliminated, but I was the team that nobody wanted to play towards the end because I was just playing spoiler on everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody caught fire after the All-Star break, and I remember Yelich being one of those guys.
Yeah, and I got Yelich's stats here pulled up. I played 130 games last season. Obviously, he did go down with that injury there towards the very end of the season. But, I mean, look at that. He's hit above 320 the last 2 years. His OPS has been above 1,000. He's been hitting ham sandwiches left and right.
And he's consistently gotten better.
Yeah,
that's what you want to see from a young player is you're increasing production through the years.
Yeah, I think I would not sell if that's. I mean, I don't know if that was exactly the. Am I concerned? No, I'm not concerned. I think he's a great baseball player. I think he's probably got at least one more MVP in him. He's obviously very good defensively as well. So people are talking about I saw an article, I think, on The Athletic, or I forget exactly where it was, but it said Mike Trout's not the best baseball player anymore. Christian Yelich is. Obviously, this was right before the season started, before he went 1 for 25. But I think he's going to be good. He's going to be fun.
And he's a likable guy, and he plays for Team USA and things like that. There's a lot of things behind him that drive his value. And to be honest, this slow start could give you a buying opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, if his prices dip. Granted, they did just go up, so but if they drop to prices where they were 2 months ago, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's some players in baseball that their cards have gone up really quickly, like Giancarlo Stanton, and you mentioned Joey Votto. But if Joey Votto tops PSA 10s, we're already only sitting at $30. To me, that sounds underpriced to begin with.
Yeah, it was for sure.
A player like Joey Votto, maybe he's fallen off a little bit, but you can't take away what he's already done.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like if his cards are only at $100 now after a big boost, then he was way underpriced to begin with. He should have already been sitting at that, around that.
Yep. Yep, I agree. So moving on, Bravo's Journey asks, "What's up, Bravo's Journey? First off, thank you for hanging out. Are you guys picking up NFL cards?" Yeah, I've picked up, and this is kind of your go-to. This is your meat and potatoes. But I have been picking up NFL cards. I've been picking up Jimmy G. I've got several of him. I know you don't like David Carr, but they're so cheap that why not for $5? Yeah. I'm not going to lose the world on raw Derek Carrs. But yeah, I've definitely been picking them up. I don't know about you, but
so I did a video last week, I believe, because I have a lot of football cards that I was buying in January and February, and I just hadn't checked up on the values of them. I don't check the values of my stuff every day because there's no need in it with the way the market is. So I just happened to look up a couple of the quarterback cards that I bought. Quarterbacks are insanely high right now. So I'm really not buying any quarterbacks. I'm actually selling. Do I think it's going to trickle over? I'm one of the few people, because people still believe it's quarterbacks. And even when I mention this, my opinion on it, people tend to disagree with me. I do think it's going to trickle over into position players.
I do too.
I don't think it's going to trickle over into everybody. I think it's going to be limited. I think it's going to be some of your flashy players and, guys that put up your top 5 fantasy players from each position. So maybe your top 5 running backs, your top 5 receivers. Yeah. I don't think it's going to go, and I think they're going to have to be young. I'm looking at 2016 and newer. I'm not looking at anything older. So guys like Julio Jones, don't get me wrong, he's great. He's a future Hall of Famer. But I don't look at putting a lot of money into somebody like Julio Jones just because of his age. He's the kind of guy you would have to buy now, and you would have to hold him to get your money out of him later. But if you're looking to make money on players now, I'm looking for 2016 and earlier or newer, and non-quarterbacks that I'm looking at are McCaffrey, which
Christian McCaffrey. Yeah,
that's 2000. Exactly. So people say, okay, position players can't be as valuable as quarterbacks, but if you look at his 2017 Prism PSA 10s, the last couple of days are selling over $500. So you can't tell me there's no value in running backs if Christian McCaffrey Prism PSA 10s are selling for over $500. Saquon Barkley's Prisms from 2018 are up to that 200, maybe even going to push 300. When Lamar Jackson 2018 base Prism is selling for $2,300, why can't a Saquon Barkley sell for $200 or $300? You know what I mean? And Michael Thomas's as a receiver is even over 150 to 200 for his 2017, I believe it is, might be 16 Prism. But anyway, those are already some guys that have gone up that aren't quarterbacks. And the quarterbacks are just untouchable. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're a starting quarterback, your cards are already expensive. And people are thinking, here's the thing. Everybody is putting stock into these players as if they're going to win the Super Bowl. There can only be one Super Bowl winner.
Can only be
one of these quarterbacks is going to win the Super Bowl, guys. I'm sorry. I know Josh Allen prices are through the roof, and I'm glad because I got in on him dirt cheap. Patrick Mahomes, well-deserved that his stuff is through the roof. Jimmy Garoppolo, still very underpriced, in my opinion. He's one of the best buys out there. He's on a team that can beat the Chiefs. He's on a team that can win the Super Bowl. Dak Prescott cards through the roof. Deshaun Watson stuff is insane right now. His Prisms are like $700. Is Deshaun Watson going to win the Super Bowl this year, though? Like, I believe everybody is just saying, oh, man, I got to buy this guy's cards because he has a chance to win the Super Bowl. But you're looking at a 1 in, 32 chance? Is that how many teams are in the NFL now? That's like putting all your money on one color on roulette and spinning the ball. You got a 36 to 1 chance of your your number coming in. It's like everybody's so high. That's another one of the reasons why I'm selling on my quarterbacks.
Everybody's so expensive right now.
If I had to buy, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
If I had to buy it, if someone was like, here, you have to pick a quarterback to buy right now that you're going to get value on, Jimmy Garoppolo is still there for me. And And take a flyer on a backup somewhere. Take a flyer on Jameis for the Saints. Take a flyer on Andy Dalton, because if he starts for Dallas in that offense, just the fact that he's in Dallas already made his cards go up as a backup. And he's officially not even the backup. He could be the starter. His stuff's dirt cheap. You can get some Andy Dalton stuff. Flip it. You know, I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer or going to win the Super Bowl or somebody that's going to, even be talked about as being, one of the best of his time. But if you're looking for quick flip money, grab some Andy Dalton's cheap.
I think Andy Dalton really suffers from being a part of the Cincinnati Bengals. That team was just so mismanaged.
Terrible.
So we have another one asking, Eddie Lee asking, and we kind of answered this one earlier, but sell Bull or ride the hype train. Eddie, man, if it was me, I'd be selling. But again, I'm very, very transparent. I don't know too much about him, but if I would have bought him for like 50 cents or whatever the heck they were, for his optics, 3 weeks ago or whatever, and now they're selling for 10x that or whatever, I'd be selling all day. There's no way I could take up or miss that opportunity. But what, so Spanky, I don't know about you. We kind of just talked about it, but I would be selling right now if I had any bull.
Yeah. I feel like if you were in on him a month ago, it's time to sell.
Yep.
If you got in on him last week, you probably overpaid and you might want to hold to get lucky that you get your money back or something.
Yep.
This is nothing against Bull as a player, by the way. This is just against the market and the hype in general. Like, there's just so much hype into cards that a guy can put up 16 points or whatever he did in a scrimmage, and his cards go from $150 to $700.
Yeah, he had 16 and 10. I think he had 10 rebounds. So, but sure, that's like a good game. Don't get me wrong. That's a solid game, but it's a scrimmage. Like, come on. Spanky. So we're going to move on. Spanky72 asks, what is your opinion on Luis Robert base rookie card? I think Luis Robert is the real deal. I think he's the real deal. I would be buying him up. I know he hit a home run. He hit his first career home run, so good on him. So I think that did spike his price up a little bit. It went up to about 25. It was around 15 or 20, so it spiked up a little bit, but nothing crazy. So I think, and you can't really buy them PSA 10 or anything yet because they don't exist. Because there's the return time is obviously like 3 years right now. But I like Luis Robert. If you could get his Bowman Chrome firsts for a relatively good deal, I like him. I like him a lot. I think he's, just based on what I've been looking up on Fangraphs and Baseball America, projected to be like a 280 hitter, 30 home runs, right around 80 to 100 RBIs. Like that's an all-star caliber player right there, year in and year out. So I don't know about you, but I like Luis Robert.
No, I actually think Luis Robert's going to be great, a good player. Yeah. A lot of times when there's young baseball players coming in, baseball is so hard to predict because
it's so hard.
People get drafted way before they even touch a Major League Baseball field. Mm-hmm. But I think Luis Robert he's going to be that guy. I don't know what kind of average he'll hit for. I'm not really sure, in the numbers as far as consistency, but I think he's going to put up some power numbers.
Yeah.
And that team around him is going to be good too. Those guys are going to mature together.
Yeah, no, I agree. And one thing that, might not get talked about too often, but he carries himself as a professional. He hit that home run. He put his head down. He just trotted around the bases. And if you've seen how he just carries himself, he's very professional. He doesn't, he's not, out there doing anything crazy.
Right.
Because when you're buying into these players, you're buying into the person. You put, how much ever, what'd you say, $700 for, certain quarterbacks and stuff. You got to keep in mind their off the field stuff matters too. So I don't think, I would be very surprised. Obviously, that can happen, but I would be surprised if some off the field stuff happened. He might be a very good. He might be an Oscar award winning. But I think he's going to be great. I think he's going to be good. Bradley Beal, Hoops rookie for $5. Harrison, I think that'd be a buy. I like Bradley Beal quite a bit. He is, he's an all-star. I like Bradley Beal. The fact that didn't he re-sign though I think he re-signed with the Wizards.
Did he?
Either he re-signed or he is once out. I
think he wants out.
I think he wants out.
I think that actually there was a small rumor at one time that Brooklyn was trying to sign him prior to the playoffs coming back, and they were getting a whole lot of hate for it. It was just a really quick rumor. I don't even think it got talked about that much. I read it somewhere. So you know how when good players get hate for when they go to try to form a championship team with another.
Oh, and he's injured right now too, so might be a great time to buy. Harrison, and he's from St. Louis. I mean, come on, stand-up guy. Come on now. No, I like Bradley Beal.
Isn't he again from that 2012?
What's that?
Isn't he again from the 2012 class we were talking about there with?
Yep.
Because we were talking about Lillard earlier. I think, those hoops, if it's $5 raw, you got to be careful, though. Those hoops cards are sensitive, condition sensitive, big time. But,
yep.
I prefer to buy condition sensitive cards or any cards in a lot, because if you buy a lot of 10,
you'll at least get
at least maybe 5 of them are going to be submittable.
Yep. I agree. But yeah, Bradley Beal, I think he's a buy at $5. Rick Prada, no, we haven't talked soccer yet. We've been mostly talking baseball and football, basketball. If you have some soccer questions, I know Steve's been putting in work. I've kind of cooled off. I kind of, got my horses and I've got them set on soccer. But Bravo, did you win the auction?
I just saw his comment. I forgot. They just ended it. I didn't even get my bids in. Oh, no. I would have paid this price for him too. Oh, well, I'll find him again. I'm surprised they went that low.
Man.
That's all right. There's plenty of them out there. I just hope they don't go up in one day or two. Now I can't tell you guys what I was going to buy. It's my secret. No, I can tell you. Actually, I'm looking into the real quick, since you asked about the auctions. It's just some Panini Brilliance from 2012. Panini Brilliance rookie cards, Kawhi and Anthony Davis.
Nice.
It's another condition sensitive, although it's kind of got some foil on it, and there is no optic from that year. So after the hoops, there has to be something else. And I'm looking at these Panini Brilliance cards.
Yeah. And I mean, again, going for guys that are on that top tier MVP caliber, you can't go wrong, I don't think. Cards Overstock says tons of potential grabbing PSA 9 QBs after the PSA 10 start going up. I definitely agree with that. Justin H, no love for Carson Wentz. Had no.
No, I do. I got love for Carson Wentz. I think he's underpriced, actually.
I like Carson Wentz.
He's one of the guys I talked about in my video last week when I was talking about the quarterbacks that weren't spiked up so high yet. I still think Carson Wentz he's lower than the rest of them. He's lower than Dak. He's lower than Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
he's kind of in between the Jared Goff and Dak Prescott price. And you're right. He didn't have any help last year. And the Eagles is a big market. I live close to that, to Philly. So,
and doesn't he technically have a ring already?
He does. I mean, he
wasn't the quarterback, but
the thing about Carson Wentz is people were talking about how bad of a season he had last year. And if you pull up his stats, he was close to 4,000 yards, like 27 touchdowns and only like 4 interceptions or 7 interceptions. I mean, his numbers were very efficient, very good last year. He just has he's one of those guys that's got that stigmatism of he can't win or he's always hurt. He gets those, he's got some labels. The moment he's able to toss those labels and win a big game,
Yeah, he
I can
passed
see his cards going nuts.
He passed for over 4,000 yards.
Yeah, he had people were talking about how bad he was last year, and he had the best season of his career statistically.
Yep. 27.
But it was lost in the fact that the Eagles were 8-8. They did make the playoffs, but it was lost in the fact that the team was doing bad and things like that, and they wanted to throw all the blame at Carson Wentz when really he was productive.
Yeah, no, 27 TDs, 7 picks. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, I agree. He's got a kind of like you said, a stigma around him.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a stigma. I've bought some Carson Wentz stuff, so yeah, I'm not down on Carson Wentz. It's just hard to be up on any quarterback right now at the prices.
Kenny Tucker says 1 QB got to pick Dak. Dak's prices are already starting to go up. Dak's prices are already starting to go up. So I mean,
QB,
yeah,
you must pick Dak. You must pick Dak.
Top 5 baseball rookie cards to invest in. Man, from this year, or
overall,
in general, what's my budget?
Cal Ripken Project 2020. I'm just kidding.
If we're doing top 5 baseball rookie cards to invest in, I'm going to go Mike Trout times 5 if it's no budget. Because, no, I like Luis Robert. Baseball's there's so many good young baseball players, so I like Robert. I like, if you have the budget, Trout. Bo Bichette. I really like Bo Bichette. I have a lot of Bo Bichette.
Let's see. If you're talking the player or a card, because that's 2 different things. If you're talking, because you could talk Ronald Acuna, but not necessarily a card as another card. You know what I mean? Yeah,
he's talking about 20. So Topps 2020. Number 1 would be Luis Robert. I think he is the closest thing to a surefire bet that we have this in this draft class. I do like Bo Bichette as well. A sleeper that probably people aren't thinking of is Nick Solak, and he's been playing well so far for the Rangers. I like him a lot, and he's probably $1 if you looked hard enough in Facebook groups. You could probably find a lot of 10 for $5. They're dirt cheap. Yeah, I don't know about you, but
from this year, I'm not big on a lot of guys this year. I like Bo Bichette. I like his style of play. I don't know. He's going to, like I said, going back to DJ LeMahieu, he's going to be a ball player for sure. Is he going to hit a whole lot of home runs? I don't know. That's kind of tends what drives the market these days, unfortunately. If you're below 30 home runs, people just don't tend to look at you. But he's going to be a hell of a player. Don't get me wrong.
I'd love to have him on the Cardinals. I know that much.
Yeah. Jordan Alvarez. I know people don't like Houston, but of course him. I'm not very big on Gavin Lux. A lot of people are. I don't know. I can't give you one specific reason on what turns me off to Gavin Lux. So really, I don't really have a good answer as to why. For some reason, I just don't have a good feeling about Gavin Lux, and I can't even pinpoint it to one thing. Because he plays for a great team. I don't know how much the Dodgers are going to play him. I mean, look, they didn't put him, they didn't bring him up. And their opening night, the guy who played second base had a monster night. It was 4 for 5. It's there's so many bats in that lineup.
It's
you
loaded.
can see them rotating guys around to where certain players, especially young guys that don't, they just might not get a lot of starts and might not get a lot of running stats. And won't mean that they're not good players. It's almost like a platoon in an outfield or in an infield or something where, you're good, but you're not so much better than somebody else that you're going to start regularly.
Yep. Yeah, no, I mean, Gavin Lux, obviously he just got sent down. I think he got sent back up, if I'm not mistaken. But he wasn't on the opening day roster. He had some errors in their inter-squad game. He had 3 just god-awful throws. like in the
And
same
on a
game.
team like the Dodgers that has so many good bats, if you can't play defense, you're probably going to work your way out of the lineup.
Yep. And somebody correct me if if you're a huge Dodgers fan. I've been watching Cardinals games, and I've been watching a lot of the Rays games. Just like in passing, I have it on when I'm just around the house or whatever. But like, yeah, those are kind of the two teams I've been watching the most. Obviously, I sit down and watch Cardinals games, but yeah. So moving on, Bravo's Journey asks, Steve, when are you pulling the trigger on Cristiano Ronaldo?
Okay, so pulling the trigger as a buy or as a sell. If you're asking as a sell, I'm not selling any soccer cards right now.
Yeah,
my soccer cards are just piling up and piling up, and their prices are already going up. And
yeah, oh my God, that Pulisic that I got, and I know the one you got is gone crazy, but the
Pulisics are crazy. I put in the Facebook group. I bought one of my very first soccer purchases was a lot, and it was there were two 2014 Prisms like Brandon Chung just talked about on the website from that set.
FullCountMedia.com. Check it out.
Yeah, check it out. I read that article today too. I love the Brandon Chung stuff, and yeah, it's good that you got that on there.
Yeah, that article was really in depth too.
Yeah, I got a Messi. It was all SGC. It was a Messi 10. It was a Neymar 9.5. And it was a Mo Salah from 2018 Prism 10. And the guy wanted 400. I made him an offer of 300, and he sold it to me. He had two lots. I wish I'd have bought both of them now. Now in PSA 10s, those cards are crazy. But
yeah, oh my God, soccer card PSA 10s are just
the Messi has already gone up to like close to $600 by itself, and I paid $300 for the entire lot. And now Neymar stuff is starting to go insane.
Yeah, well, he had a big game, didn't he? Or he's having
Paris Saint-Germain won the title in the Premier League. I mean, League One. I'm sorry. And he plays on that team, and that's the same team that Kylian Mbappe's on. So they play together. He went from playing with Messi in La Liga to playing with Mbappe in League One. Good
company.
But Ronaldo, like all my soccer cards, I'm holding. It's hard to buy Ronaldo because it's expensive. I have 2016 Prisms. I haven't been able to get in on a 2014 from that set. That's the only guy I don't have from that set. And it's because it's expensive, and I'm scared to buy one raw, to be honest with you. If I can find a good price on one that's graded, or if I can go to a card show and actually look at one before I buy it. But I'm not going to pour that, what it's getting up to, maybe between $75 and $100 into a raw one, especially when I know that those cards weren't popular when they were made, so people didn't necessarily take care of them. And and there is printing defects on the backs of the Messis and the Ronaldos near the top that I'm aware of. So I would like to look at that card before I buy it. I want them. If I could, I would pull the trigger on it right now if I was at a card show and saw 5 of them in front of me that look good. But that's just what's keeping me from buying them. And he just won another title with Juventus. I mean, his cards are going to go crazy. You have the Juventus optics, so that's a good card too.
Yeah, it surprisingly it hasn't gone up too much yet, but I mean it's a matter of time. Trading Cards and More says you should use Snipe Bid. Some kind of, I guess that might be an app or some kind of software. That's good.
Yeah.
Hockey prices have gone up quite a bit in the past 2 months. How much higher do you think they'll get? It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I mean, hockey hasn't started yet, so I think we're just tip of the iceberg with what the prices could get to. And if the rest of the sports are any indicator, we're only at the beginning of the hype train. I know that. It's funny because McDavid PSA 10 several months ago I don't know how long ago, it was a couple weeks, I don't know, everything runs together, but a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, I made a top 5 most underpriced, in my opinion, hockey cards. I had Connor McDavid PSA 10 on that list. It was $500 at the time. I got a lot of hate in the comments saying, how could this be underpriced? It's so expensive. That card now is selling for $1,500. It was very underpriced. So I think we're at the tip of the iceberg with hockey. I think, and I know because people are DMing me about hockey cards that are coming in from other sports too. So, hey, I've been collecting baseball. Hey, I've been collecting basketball, trying to get into hockey. So I know for a fact people are kind of starting to try and test their luck with hockey. So I know that there are people out there that are getting interested in hockey. And I mean, in terms of like the multiplier, I have no idea who could tell, but I do know that there is gaining momentum for hockey cards. I don't know if you have anything to say on that front, but
hockey is just not my thing. Not that I don't, like the sport. Right. It's just not my thing when it comes to cards. So I don't like to necessarily speak a lot on something that, I'm not just going to throw somebody a bunch of just to say something, So did you buy the Connor McDavid card?
No.
I remember you buying a PSA 10 card in one of your videos of a player you really liked, and I was thinking to myself that's what it was, but I
got Austin.
Was it Austin Meadows?
Austin Matthews, yeah.
Austin Matthews.
Austin Matthews is a guy that I'm really excited about. He's on the Toronto Maple Leafs, which, if you guys don't know, that is basically the largest fan base in hockey. And if they win a championship, if they can hoist Lord Stanley's Cup in the next couple of years, I suspect that card will go. It's already gained, $100 since the time I bought it. But I suspect it will go up as time goes on. Obviously, winning a championship will do the trick. But as guys like, Ovechkin and Sidney Crosby leave, and their kind of time in the spotlight is over, somebody's going to take up that mantle, and it can't just be McDavid. So I think that Austin Matthews is probably the guy to step into that second best player in the league.
Yeah, speaking of Toronto, I mean, last time I bought a hockey card, Felix Potvin was the goalie for Toronto. So that gives you show you how long ago it was that I bought hockey cards. There was a time when I was big in the hockey cards, but it's come and gone.
House Phone asks, what do you think about 2012 Panini Crusade? I believe that's one of their lower end products. I don't know too much about Crusade. Do you know much about Crusade?
Yeah, because I'm dipping into some of these lower end products from especially from 2012, because I'm trying to get some low end Kawhi stuff. Crusade is one of those ones that's in there. I believe it's got the angel wing design on it. A lot of them do anyway. It's actually could possibly be a popular Kobe card just because of what happened with him. Ooh, when you look at the card, he looks like he has angel wings.
Wow. That's
which
fair.
Is kind of neat. I don't know if people have bought into that, but again, from a novelty standpoint, not only the fact that it's Kobe Bryant, but it's just kind of fitting. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. If you have finish your thought.
Yeah, any of those low end stuff. Like I said, I'm looking at Fleer Brilliance. I am looking at Crusade, and I'm looking at just basic Panini. Panini. Those guys. I did it with Giannis, so I'm trying to recapture it again. I did it with Giannis back in March. I bought Hoops. I bought SP Authentic. I bought Panini Prestige. I bought all the low end stuff dirt cheap, and now they're worth a lot of money, and I'm selling them off. And now I'm trying to do the same thing with Kawhi before it happens with his cards. Yeah.
Doobie, I agree. Nathan McKinnon is another guy that could, be that, McKinnon, McDavid, Meadows. Those are the young guys.
And you're going to
I've talked about Nathan.
Start buying it too.
I've talked about Nathan McKinnon. I did a video with Red Cape Sports. I did a video with Bird from Red Cape Sports where we talked about our top 5 young guns heading into the playoffs. So you guys can check that out. It's in my, past videos or whatever. So you guys can check that out. We actually mentioned that, Sean, how Colorado, I actually said Colorado is one of the American markets that I like because their fan base is so good. They have a lot of they have a very strong fan base. Halo says, Steve, lately the Neymar 2014 Prism World Cup PSA 9 has been very undervalued. I got one for $76 Saturday at auction. He is good to buy with the Champions League starting up again soon. And he's going to pull it out and say, yo, I already got one. Bro.
I don't have that one. I'll show you one that I have that's similar. Well, Barcelona wants him back. Barcelona was dominating with Messi and Neymar. Then he went to play in France for Paris Saint-Germain, and he's still playing great. He used to typically get an injury every year right around his birthday just so he could take leave and go party in Brazil. But I think people are starting to recognize that you have, in this era anyway, you have Messi and Ronaldo, and they're looking for that third guy now, and it's starting to be Neymar. Everybody's like, Neymar stuff. I think he's catching on as that third guy. If you were compared to basketball and you were like talking about, LeBron and Giannis, and then now everybody's on Kawhi. It's kind of like that. You're actually realizing how great a player has been because they've kind of been in the shadow of others. People are talking about Kawhi winning a third title with a third team in 3 tries. That wasn't even a thought, like a month ago. Because everybody's been talking about LeBron and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing it's the same thing here. Everybody talks about the debate goes on and on. Who's the greatest, Messi or Ronaldo? And nobody, now all of a sudden everybody's like, man, Neymar has been great. The whole time these guys have playing, Neymar has been great. And it's caused his cards to go up. And I haven't even been to soccer that long, and I know that much just, from that. Luckily, there's a buddy I work with. He lived in Barcelona for a long time, so he's a huge Messi and Neymar fan. And
oh, wow.
He actually filled me in on those guys before I even got into soccer. I was like, who are some good soccer players? And he was like, Messi. He goes, don't forget about this guy Neymar. He's awesome. He played for Barcelona forever. And so I got a little bit of help there. But I was actually looking for a Neymar card, and I pulled a Messi card. That was the Messi card I accidentally pulled. It's got a glare on it.
Oh yeah.
That's a 10 from the 14 Prism. The Neymar should be in here behind it somewhere. Maybe not. Oh, there it is. This is a 9.5. Still better. I mean, these are typically supposed to be better than a PSA 9, though, with an SGC 9.5. I just kind of lucked in that card. It was part of a lot that I was buying for a Messi card.
Nice. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, if you guys have any other questions, last second here, get them in because we are running on about an hour and 13 minutes. I like to keep these about an hour long just for time purposes. And, it's already 10:30 here. But, yeah, if you guys have any last second questions, get them in. Otherwise, make sure to go on over to Flipping Steve. That is Steve's YouTube channel. There is a link in the description of this video to his page, to his YouTube page. You guys can go check that out. Make sure to go show him some love. Hit that subscribe button over there. He's doing pretty regularly content. I mean, you pumping out like 3 or 4 a week, right?
Yeah, I tend to do one every other day. I did have one go 2 days. I work. Sometimes I'm tired, and it just depends on the day.
Understandable.
But yeah.
Yeah, so go show Steve some love over there on his YouTube channel. Looks like we got your thoughts on Select 2019. Oh, Kawhi. Sorry, I meant to bring that one up and completely glanced over it. 2019 Kawhi. So that's what? Because they're on new teams?
Is that this season? So you're talking about 1920 or 1819? I'm going to guess 1920.
Yeah. I would assume so.
Yeah, so I'm going to say because Kawhi, Davis, and Paul George are all on new teams, I believe, and Luka second-year cards. So Kawhi optics, okay, Prisms have him in his Raptors uniform. So if you're looking for the uniform, you're going to have to go optic and later, optic and select. It does say Clippers on the Prism card. However, he's in his Toronto uniform. I have been buying those base pink hollows. I just bought a checkerboard actually while we were sitting here.
Nice.
Bought a checkerboard hollow. I missed out on the rookie that I was trying to buy, but I did get the checkerboard. Same thing goes for Anthony Davis. Exact same scenario. It's going to be the optic in his Lakers uniform.
Yep.
I will say this. I've been buying Anthony Davis for like the past 2 or 3 weeks, his Lakers stuff. Over the past couple days, it's gotten cheaper. I don't know what's caused that to happen.
Interesting.
Yeah, I bought an optic checkerboard. If you guys have seen on the channel, I've been showing it because it was going to be part of a giveaway. But I have 2 optic checkerboards that I paid somewhere around $80 for each. And now they're going for like 55 and 60. I've seen them going off at. Did he get a small eye injury or something? I'm not really sure.
He got poked in the eye.
Okay, so
he's fine,
that's just overreactive. People are overreactive positive and people are overreacting negative. Okay, so if he would have scored 15 points in a scrimmage, that card would have went up to $150, but he got poked in the eye, so it went down $25. That's how things work now. So, so that would explain. I mean, that would make sense. You know, all of a sudden he's poked in the eye. He's not Anthony Davis anymore. And second-year cards are popular. I mean, Luka cards, you unless you got money, it's tough to buy his rookies.
Yeah.
Paul George, I'm not buying Paul George. If I'm going to buy Paul George, I'm just going to go back and buy his rookie cards, to be honest. Because I don't think he's a good enough player. Well, he's a great player, but I don't think he's a, player of an era or a trend, the type of player that, when you talk about the best.
Yeah, my stance on those, like, first year with the new team or second year, like not rookie, but second year cards, my stance has and always will be, if they aren't a top guy, like, which I mean, Kawhi, Anthony Davis, Luka, those are top guys. Paul George, I mean, he is a great player, but, he's been in the league, 10 years almost? I mean, close to, right? And he's just not that very, very transcendent player like Kawhi.
When you think of his team, you don't even think of him. If you think about the Clippers right now, who do you think about? You think about Kawhi, unfortunately. If you do want a card, though, that I think is a sleeper along the same lines as this, go back to 2012 and look into the select James Harden cards. It's his first Rockets uniform. James Harden, don't know if he'll ever win a title, but he's a scoring machine. He'll be a Hall of Famer. His 2012 Prism, which is the iconic set, of course, still has him on OKC. And then there was no optic that year. So Select was the first premium card to put him in a Rockets uniform. And you can buy him for like $3. So if you're wanting to take a gamble on something, I would rather buy that for $3 than buy Paul George cards for $3 or $4.
Yeah. Yeah. Harrison says, Trevor Story, Tim Anderson, undervalued. I definitely agree with Trevor Story. Defensively, he is the best. He's the best shortstop in the game. He's obviously very good. Again, Coors effect, I understand all of that, but I think that I 100% agree with Trevor Story. Tim Anderson, I agree. Mr. Bat Flip, he's got some swag behind him. He's got some popularity. I think he's got a YouTube channel now too. So, I mean, all that matters. And he's a hell of a ball player. And he's on the White Sox, which we have already talked about today, is an up-and-coming team that could, potentially win a championship here in the next, 3 to 5 years. So, or, I mean, they could do it this year, but yeah, no, I agree. Trevor Story, 100%. And then Tim Anderson is a guy I hadn't thought of, but I do agree, based on if his prices are under $40 for his PSA 10 for just a base tops. I think that would be a reasonable buy. Rick, thank you for hanging out with us. Everybody, thank you all for hanging out with. Oh, we got one more. Yeah. One more. Almost missed it. I'd have had a thumbs down. Thoughts on the possibility of Jordan Sancho transferring to Manchester and what that means for his cards. Jordan Sancho, pretty good from what I've been looking up. If he goes to Manchester, that's going to be huge for his cards, I think. Obviously, much bigger territory, much bigger team, much bigger league. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's awesome. His cards are already expensive, even though he's been playing in Bundesliga in Dortmund.
Yep.
Manchester United is going to be in the Champions League. If he goes to Manchester, it's not even a possibility. It's going to happen. I see this as a possibility, but I was just watching some interviews or some soccer news today, and it's pretty much inevitable. They're already talking about who's going to come off that front line for Jadon Sancho, because Man U's front line right now, Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood, and Anthony Martial. They're already stacked on the front line. All three of those guys are insanely good. I don't know if they run a different formation to get all four of those guys up there somehow. Maybe put one out front as a striker, or Martial can play striker. Or if they just have a rotation. I would think in the beginning Sancho would come in and go into a rotation, because I don't warrant him starting over any of those guys right now. Rashford's one of the best young players in the Premier League. Mason Greenwood is the hype in the hobby right now. I think his stuff is the most expensive stuff to buy.
I've been hearing a lot about.
He may be the most raw right now, though, but undeveloped talent, but probably has the most talent. And Marshall has been their man. Without Marshall down the stretch here, Man U wouldn't even have made it into the Champions League, because they just scraped in. Usually it takes about 70 points to get into the Champions League, and I think they got in with 66 points this year. So the Premier League as a whole of quality teams is down. Then you got a couple dominant teams, but as a whole, it seems like the competition level is down until this surge that Man U made at the end. With Anthony Martial was just scoring goals like crazy. I mean, I'm buying his stuff up. I just went back on Beckett.com today and bought a bunch of 2016 Prisms of Anthony Martial for like $1 each, because people don't scour for those things. So Jadon Sancho is awesome. I don't know where they're going to play him. I don't know who suffers. It won't be Sancho, because they'll play him. They're not going to then they're not going to bring him in if they don't plan to use him. It just wouldn't make sense. If they didn't feel like he made them better, it would make them better. His cards are already expensive, so all it's going to do is make him go up even more.
Yep, no, I agree.
I don't know what it'll do for his Bundesliga cards. Right now his rookie cards are the Optic. It's got him in his England uniform, and his Bundesliga, his Topps Chrome, which has him in his Dortmund uniform, which is a Champions League card. So he doesn't have a Man U card. Soccer's funny.
Yeah,
when it comes to rookie cards, people tend to like those kits. Man U, Man U fans are going to eat up his new cards in the Manchester United, so you don't know if it'll affect the values of his rookies, because he's playing for teams that he'll probably never play for again. Other than the England national team, it could actually drive the value of that one.
Yeah, definitely. Liviano asks, first year Optic cards. This is going to be the last question, guys, and then we're gonna call it. First year Optic cards undervalued, guys like LeBron, Kawhi, Curry. I don't know the prices on some of those, on all of those. I haven't looked. I've been focusing, as you guys know, a lot on baseball recently. So, I mean, I assume they've only gone up since the last time I've checked. So, I mean, when it comes to those guys, those are the guys, right? Those are MVPs. Those are great GOATs, right? I think with those guys, you can't go wrong. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, with the players, you can't go wrong. Now, the question, I don't know the market value on those. I remember because the 2012 Prism set went crazy, so everybody was like, oh, let's start buying the 2016 Optic, because that's the next thing, Prism Optic. So everybody's buying the 2016 first Optic cards of everybody. I don't know if I would rather have a nice first Optic or a nice first jersey. As a fan of a team, I would rather prefer. So I guess whether you're thinking like a collector or an investor, because there's two different mentalities.
Yep.
you're trying to sell to collectors who tend to spend more money than investors, because investors are cheap. I'll be first to tell you, I'm not looking to buy expensive and sell. I'm looking to buy cheap and sell. So the collectors, that big market for the Clippers, there's going to be a lot of collectors. So just like with the Lakers, with LeBron, now he's bounced around a couple teams. So, different collectors from different teams. I personally like first jerseys better than I like a first set card, unless it's a super iconic set, like the Prism set. The Optic, they did get value. Secret card in that 2016 Optic set. I told Alex about this card. Dwayne Wade card. If you look at the 2016 Optic Dwayne Wade, and it would be Dwayne Wade's first Optic card. I know he doesn't get talked about right now because he's retired. Another sneaky buy. But this card has LeBron defending him. So
it's a cool card.
You pull that card up and look at it, 2016 Optic Dwayne Wade. LeBron's on the card front with him, guarding him. So someday people might realize that, and once that happens, it's too late.
Yep. That's like the we were talking that same night, we talked about that Lakers tops are the Kobe Bryant tops card with LeBron guarding him. And that, oh man, that's why I don't like Prism. You'll never get those iconic photos, right? With other players. But yeah. I mean, I hope that answers your question. Oh, cool. He says, thanks. So yeah, hopefully we answered everybody's questions, to the best of our abilities. I know we did. Hopefully you guys are satisfied with that. But yeah, thank you all for rocking with the channel. If you're listening to this on the podcast, thanks for listening. Thank you everybody in the live chat for asking all these, had some good engagement tonight. So I thank you all so much. Make sure to subscribe to Steve's channel over at Flipping Steve. There is a link in the description. So go subscribe to him, show him some love. He's close to 800. So, let's get him to 800. And of course, if you enjoy the content here on this channel, make sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button if you're new here and enjoyed it. Thank you all so much. If you guys want to help out the channel, it is 100% free. Just click that link, that eBay link. You can check that out. It's 100% free to you. I do get a small kickback if you buy within 24 hours. You don't have to buy the initial card that pops up. You can go shop for whatever. You can buy a car, and I'll get a kickback. But yeah, thank you all so much. It's been awesome. I'm going to continue to be making content as much as I can. I'm doing the fullcountmedia.com as well right now. Hopefully, Steve, we can get an article from you.
I just want to have I just want to have something valuable to give. I just don't want to come up with an article for the sake of writing an article. I always like to have some sort of value behind my content.
Absolutely.
That somebody can take something away from it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, we are. Thanks everybody for watching, for listening. And yeah, I don't know. That's it. Baseball's in full effect. The Cardinals lost again to the Twins today. What's up, Curtis? A little late. Yeah.
Curtis.
You can rewatch it, though. You can rewatch it.
Rewatch it, Curtis.
But yeah, thank you all so much. Make sure to check out fullcountmedia.com. I'm trying to get a lot of different creators on there, making content, helping the community as well as just other creators. It's been awesome. I've met, Steve, Boris from the Hobby Box. I've met Brandon Chung, Dakota from Cards Over Stocks. There's a lot of guys that, are making quality content that I have worked with and want to continue to work with and help just cultivate this awesome community that I think we've got going. And, it starts with the viewers. I appreciate everybody for rocking with the channel. So I'm ranting. I appreciate you all. Thank you for watching and listening. Until the next time, keep cracking packs, keep collecting. Adios, guys.